friends, it's Cindy, back to do another short video with you to go over some basic yoga poses so that whenever you do your next practice with me, you'll be able to follow right along. So last video I kind of walked you through a few basic things, seated positions, mountain poses, talked about breath. I didn't really give you the points, mountain pose, on the benefits to your body. So the mountain pose, which is your standing position, also known as Tadasana. It improves your posture, strengthens your thighs, knees, ankles, tones your abdomen and buttocks, relieves sciatica, helps to treat flat feet. You do want to be very careful if you have problems with headaches or you're having insomnia or low blood pressure, because you do not want to get dizzy, and fall over. It's very important when you're in that position to not lock your knees up. So you always keep just a little micro bend in the knees. Tall mountain is, or upward salute, or also known as Urdhva Hastasana. It is good for stretching the shoulders, arms, and belly. Be cautious if you have neck or shoulder issues, because it could cause a little discomfort. Other poses that I want to go over with you today, I think I'm going to tell you what they are, the benefits, and then we'll go through them. So I want to go through A Salutation, which is a series of yoga moves. We do it every practice, but you may not know that you're going through a Sun A. So Sun A, you would always start in mountain pose, raise your arms up, forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, root to rise, hands to heart center, and go through a few more things. But that's the beginning. So we've gone through the mountain pose. I'm using my book here to kind of help make sure that I don't forget any of the benefits, and none of this is in order. So that forward fold, well, let me just explain them, tell you the benefits, and then we'll practice. Then we'll go through the proper stances. So doing your forward fold and then half lift. So the benefits are stretches your hamstrings, hips, and spine, strengthens thighs and knees, reduces stress, and aids in digestion. Anytime we do any twist poses, that's also very good for your digestive system. Other things that these movements do, these help warm up your muscles, get the blood flowing, so that when you get into some more intense moves, it helps to not strain or harm your muscles or anything. So that is forward fold and half lift. From there, we may go into a high lunge. High lunge, or also known as, well, we're just going to leave it at high lunge for now. The benefits: it strengthens the thighs, stretches your hip flexors, shoulders, chests, with your arms lifted, and improves balance. If you have knee issues, you may want to be cautious here. That's the high lunge. From high lunge, we may go into, let's see what the next one is. Well, I'm just gonna go through these as they're in order of the book. So Cobra is another pose that we do. The Cobra pose, it benefits, it helps you to stretch and strengthen your spine, upper arms, stretches front of body, improves your posture. Be careful if you have low back issues or pregnant, because you are on your tummy, flat on your tummy here. Plank pose, well, I think everybody probably knows plank pose, or you can think of it as the start of a push-up. There, and be mindful too that if any of these poses seem difficult, there are alternative poses that you can do to so that you can build up. So you can do a plank pose where you're got your hands and your feet, or you can also come down on your knees. But it benefits helps you to strengthen your arm and your core muscles. If you have wrist issues, then you may want to figure a different way to modify this, and I can always help you through that. Downward facing dog pose. That strengthens your arms and legs, stretches your spine, your hamstrings, calves, arches of your feet, aids in digestion, helps to relieve menstrual cramps, and helps to relieve headaches. If you have low blood pressure or shoulder injury or torn hamstrings, then you may want to find an alternative pose. So those are a few of the options going into Sun A. So we start in mountain pose. As I mentioned, we inhale our arms up. If you remember, in mountain pose, your feet are firmly planted on your mat. You can have your feet right under your hips, or if you're pretty tight, you can always bring your feet out just a little bit more, but usually right under your legs. Tailbone's tucked in, core is engaged, shoulders are rolled back. Head is parallel with the ceiling. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. So we're bending at the waist. And we think about keeping your spine straight until you come down. My knees are bent. I still have the weight evenly positioned in my feet. Halfway lift, I can bring my hands up to my shins, up to my thighs, or keep my fingertips on the floor if that works for you. Whatever position feels most comfortable. The point when you're coming into a half lift is to keep a nice straight spine here. So my shoulders are rolled back and away from my ears. Tailbone is still tucked in, core is engaged, chest is open, crown of head pointing forward. So think about if someone came and placed a cup of coffee on your neck, you would be able to support it because you've got a nice table-like spine going on. And then exhale, forward fold. Again, this really helps to warm up these back legs. Now, nice bend in your knees. It's going to work a few different places in your body. It's going to take some of that pressure off of the back of your legs if that seems to be a little bit too tight. And then inhale, root to rise. We're using our core to lift us up. Hands come up, and then exhale to heart center. Inhale, hands up. I usually do this 3 times when I go through practice because it really gets the blood going. Exhale as we forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, raise all the way up nice and tall. And remember, my shoulders are not up, but I've got that beach ball. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, raise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands. Step one foot back, then the other, coming into plank, or bring your knees down. Whatever feels right to you. You want your hands, I'm going to come down for a second. Your wrists are directly under your shoulders. Your fingers are open nice and wide, so your L, so your middle finger is pointing forward. Your fingertips are engaged into the mat. that helps take the pressure off of your wrist. My arms are, so the inner part of my elbow is pointing forward. I'm actively turning those to point forward. My heels are pushing back toward the wall, unless I'm down on my knees, of course. My shoulders, so I'm pushing up and out of my shoulders. Almost feels like I've got a little bit of a curve in my back, my upper back. My core is nice and engaged. I'm not dipping or lifting, but nice even core here. And then I exhale, I lower all the way down to the mat, nice and slow. Keeping my hands at the top of my rib cage, my feet are nice and engaged, pushing into the mat, so my legs are active. I inhale using my upper body and my breath to lift up off of the mat. See, I'm not using my hands at all. This is baby cobra. My chin is up and my chest is up. Then I exhale, lower down. Sometimes I do this 3 times too. And watch my elbows. So my elbows are also engaged in. So inhale, lift up. And if you're worried about pushing into the mat, lift your hands up. Exhale, lower down. If I want a little bit more of a back bend, so what a cobra position does, it helps you arch your back, so it gives you a little bit more of a arch, and it's another bend or movement in your spine. But I could do a tall cobra, and in a tall cobra, I'm going to engage my hands a little bit, but I come up a little bit taller. But my shoulders are still away from my ears. My legs are still engaged. And I exhale, lower down. I can also bring my fingers out on either side of my mat. Elbows are up, even with my shoulders. Inhale, lift up, here. And exhale. I can do a upward facing dog in this position. So in an upward facing dog, my hands and my top of my feet are the only thing on the mat. So this works your core a little bit more. So one more time, let's do your choice. Inhale, baby cobra for me. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, curl your toes under, push up into plank, and then exhale, downward facing dog. So when we're in down dog, it's an active resting pose. Again, my hands are nice and firm on the mat. Same thing, middle fingers are pointing forward. I've got my hands open as wide as I can. I'm using my fingertips to kind of suction into the mat. Elbows are rolled out. I'm inhaling, pushing my tailbone up toward the ceiling, and then exhaling, bringing my heels down toward the mat as I bring my chest toward my thighs. Maybe your heels come all the way down to the mat, and maybe they don't. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Your feet are hip distance apart here, or if you need to, you could come out a little further. If you do that, think about turning your inner thighs in toward one another. Sometimes I'll inhale, bend my knees, and then exhale, push my hips up toward the sky, and heels down toward the mat so that I can be sure that I'm bringing my chest toward my thighs so I can open up through my shoulders. Make sure you're not holding any tension in your head here. Now inhale, I can either walk my hands up toward my or my hands back toward my feet or my feet up toward my hands. So I'm going to inhale and I'm going to walk my hands back toward my feet. Come into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, nice and tall. And then exhale, hands to heart center. I'm really hoping you guys could see me over here. I don't know if you could or not. I think I might have been out of range. If I was, I apologize. I will make sure that you capture that in the next video. Or, you know what? Let me just do it right here. One more time. So I was in downward facing dog, right? And I did mention first time we get into downward facing dog, we walk our dog, bending in one knee, straightening the other. And then maybe I'll just walk my feet up to meet my hands coming into halfway lift or to forward fold. And then I always do halfway lift because when you're in an inverted position, like we were in downward facing dog, you don't want to just stand up really quick because the blood could rush to your head and make you dizzy. So we do the forward fold, we're in an inverted position, halfway lift, so that the blood kind of comes back to where it's supposed to be, and then we come all the way up, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Thank you guys. Thank you for allowing me to share my knowledge of yoga with you. I enjoy being able to teach because I learn as I go, and I appreciate each one of you for letting me be me. Namaste.